All right, guys, welcome in.
Hey,
Hello.
hey, hey,
Hey,
Hey.
it's
Hey.
April. It's
Hey.
April.
No, it's
it
not.
is April. Holy crap.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what's happening? This has already been a very busy year for me. So,
Ooh,
bet you guys doing okay?
yes, doing well.
Yeah,
Doing
trying
well.
to get off from cinnamon toast. I'm chilling.
Man, you're so airy today. It's the worst.
Airy.
You're fine. All right. Anyways, so
This is evil.
let's talk about what we've been playing like normal. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you stopping by, Rug. Thank you. You the best.
Oh yeah.
You
You the best.
the best.
best
You the best.
around.
Nothing's ever gonna bring you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about early access games, but we're going to do what we always do, talk about what we've been playing, which for me has been a lot of WoW still. Back on the Classic as well. I'm trying to gain a level a week so that I can get to 60 before Burning Crusade comes out, which in 2021 sounds weird to say out loud when Burning Crusade comes out. That was like 14 years ago when it actually came out. But I'm having a good time. It's not too bad. I'm in the home stretch, so to speak. I'm 55, so I got 5 levels to go, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. XP wise, halfway to 60 is 50, so it's there's a lot of XP left to go. Anyways, and then I've been playing some Neverwinter Nights with Brian and a couple other people here and there. When they're on or when I have time. It's just been a lot of stuff I've been doing for Exodus. We did a couple of podcasts, which will be coming out soon too, so keep an eye out for those. And then I've been working on getting a D&D game started. I've been messing around in Foundry. I have a new concept I want to do for D&D. That I made rules for and stuff like that. So we'll talk more about that, later on in a different stream or something. But that concept's getting really close to being finished now. I'm just making sure all the maps are ready, and I'm going to get some people in. It'll be the perfect game if you want to play it sometime. Alpha. The way the game's going to work, it's going to be really easy to kind of hop in and out. So, like, if you just want to play once, that's awesome. If you wanted to play, like, you can't play every time, but you want to play, like, here and there, great. Right. So, if you ever want to try it, let me know. That goes for anybody else listening. Like, I have a feeling we may have some regulars, like people that'll probably make it every time, but like it's going to lend itself to if somebody just wants to come in 1 week and that's it, go for it.
That's a really cool idea. I like that.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm super excited for it.
Yeah. It's also really good for people who like making characters because
Yep.
Right.
The concept is not necessarily about the character building, it's actually about the town building. So that's just kind of like a little preview. It's more about the town, and then you take your characters out to get things to enhance the town so that you can make better characters, basically. So it's a little bit different concept. So, but anyway, so we'll be doing that, and I've been working on it, and it's been pretty fun so far. So we'll see how that goes. What about you, Alpha? I know you're a big Escape from Tarkov guy.
Yeah.
But you've been playing some other games, right? You're kind of got your Kappa case. Congratulations, since the last time we talked, right?
Yeah.
But what else you been doing?
I found this new game that actually Battlestate, the guys who made Tarkov, tweeted out and said congratulations on the launch. I was like, what is this? And it's a game, a free game on Steam called Hired Ops. And it's basically set in the Tarkov world. It's USEC versus Bear. And it's more of the style like Counter-Strike.
Okay. So like a versus
Tarkov
arena
aspect.
style game?
Exactly. Like Conquest, they got little Battlefield in there. They got Bomb the Site and stuff like that. So it is so addicting. It is really brutal, like Tarkov is.
How like Tarkov is like the gunplay, and like can you put like attachments on your weapons and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so it doesn't work where you just go around and like find them.
Right.
You do
It's
have
like a
to
buy
buy
phase,
them.
like in
Yeah, so
yeah, like
just
in
like
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike, right? You
Right.
earn your money per round, and then the more money you get, you can level up your stuff, buy certain things. You unlock different attachments by leveling up your guns, basically. The
Oh,
more
nice.
you use them, the more
Okay.
attachments and stuff that you can unlock. And
So
yeah, it's
that's
just great
like-
to s-
So that's kind of like Call of Duty as far as leveling up your weapon to get more attachments.
yeah, and it's kind of like the arena mode that Tarkov's been hinting at for a while. That they're still working on, but it's a nice refresher. You know, it's Tarkov can get a little stressful sometimes.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. This is kind of like, I'm dead. All right. Well, I'll be
Yeah,
back in
okay,
2 minutes. You know. Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't lose
exactly.
anything. Cool.
absolutely.
Anything else? What? How are your VR? How are the VR ventures going?
VR streams are fun. I recently found a new game that came out by a dev company called WannaDev.
Mhm.
And it's called Ragnarok. It's
Ooh.
basically Viking drum Guitar Hero. But the more you do, the faster your ship goes. So it's like a ship race at the same time. And
Mhm.
you're playing the drums for your crew to
To
row
row.
to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept, really cool. It works really well. And it's fun. Yeah, it's if you're a fan of Guitar Hero, you'll be a fan of this.
Yeah,
If
it
you like
sounds.
Vikings, you'll be a fan of this.
Yeah, I there's a game me and Brian need to play it again because we haven't played it yet. I don't even know if Brian
got it.
actually bought it yet, but
No, I haven't.
it's a VR like quote unquote MMO, right? It's like, you know, there's probably only maybe like 200 people on, but still. What's cool though is the bard in that game plays you have to play the instruments to do like buffs. So it's pretty
Hold
cool.
on, what is this VR game that I have not heard of?
I'll have to
great.
look up the name for it. I can't remember. It starts with an O
You
though.
better look up the name of that.
Yeah. Let me pull Steam up real quick and I'll tell you. But
That sounds amazing.
it's pretty cool and it's all of them. So you start off with like what is it called? Xylophone, basically.
No way.
Yeah, that's the first weapon you start with. And so you have to play different like tunes to do buffs, like in VR. So it's
I
pretty
like
cool.
it.
It's
That's
great.
really cool.
Yeah.
So what's
very
every
cool.
little lamb give you?
No, I don't think it's like any songs that you really know, but
Yeah,
Weak.
just off the wall.
it's called Orbis VR.
Orbis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't too expensive. It was like I think it's like $25, but the other aspects are cool too. Like, I mean, there's like boss mechanics where you got to run out of stuff and all kinds of stuff, just like an MMO. You know, to shoot your gun, you got to aim it. There's like a gun class, like a gunslinger class.
Okay.
Well, you know, if you're like a paladin with a shield, you're running around swinging your sword. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that
well-
sounds really fun.
Yeah, yeah. And it has like, it'll let you do either mode where you point to move or you want to like
Free roll.
actually move with the, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat. Yeah, you have to check it out. It's pretty
Absolutely.
nice. So, but yeah, so I want to play that. Plus, we just found, or I just, you know, we found that game we're gonna play probably tomorrow, right? Are you gonna play it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Zero
Caliber.
Zero Caliber. That's the one.
yeah, so Alpha stream tomorrow. If anybody's listening, go check that out. Zero Caliber. It looks pretty cool. It's like looks kind of realistic looking milsim style VR game. So we're gonna try to play that a little bit tomorrow. I couldn't commit very long. I got kids to watch, but I'm gonna hop in for a little bit. So, but that'll be fun, I think. Brian,
Yeah,
what have you
that'll
been
be-
playing?
Mostly just Neverwinter when I am on the computer.
Yeah.
But
It's a busy time for you. You're about to leave, go out of town, right?
dude,
going
I
to a
still
friend's
went
wedding?
Here. Oh, it's rough.
You got that. You're getting married, right? We're just gonna
Yeah.
tell everybody all your personal.
Yeah, so I'm going to New York on the 1st of next month. We'll be in New York for a week for my fiance's best friend's wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and then when we get back, we pack the house up because we're moving in on June 1st, moving into our new
Yep.
house.
Yep.
And then wedding in October. So everything's fucking just all at once.
It's time.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Time, yeah.
It's gonna be
So,
interesting.
well, cool. So Neverwinter, and then is that about it?
Yeah. Yep. That's really all I've been playing. I
Yeah.
don't think I've loaded anything else. I mean, I got Subverse, but I don't really like.
Yeah.
I played it for like a good I think 6 hours so far, and then I hit the point where there was really no reason to keep playing it because they haven't added stuff past that point. So I was just like,
Gotcha.
all right, I'll wait. But they did just do a 6 gig update, so I need to go look into the patch notes and see if they actually added any content.
By the way, Tarnus asked, that is correct. It's Orbis VR, Tarnus. That is it. My bad. Death Dice and Dungeons asked that, not Tarnus. That's my bad. Sorry. All right, Ian, what have you been doing, man? Well, I know what you've been doing, but what? Tell everybody else. You're muted.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted in Discord. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, God.
So just World of Warcraft. Nothing but World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft. And then followed up by World of Warcraft. The new Path of Exile League came out today, and I'm going out of my way to not play like this time.
Really?
I've just burned myself out on it so hard, just playing it so consistently.
Also, last time he left us for like 3 months.
Yeah, we did.
Well, that's not even why. Like, it's not even that. I just legitimately just burnt out playing, that game as hard as I do. Like every time it comes out with the league, it's just, eh.
I mean,
Then,
you finally matured.
Well, no, he's just skipping it this time. Yeah, doesn't
I
mean
think I'm
anything.
gonna play it long enough to get the 12 achievements so that I can get like the helmet appearance thing, and then like just bail out and not fucking go hard on it like normal.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
But yeah, just
lots of WoW. Tell the class how many level 60s you have now.
Well, I have every class except for I think my monk and my paladin. My monk is 50. I'm just too lazy.
Oh man.
And my paladin, I'm just waiting for like you and Charlie to be ready to level.
Oh yeah, and side shippies. Side shippies. Yeah, that's what Charlie's putting in the chat.
Well, I mean, ship girls always, but
yeah, that's just on the phone, so you just play that whenever. Yeah.
Yeah, I never stop like that. That's never
true. I forgot to log in yesterday, and I'm mad at myself because I didn't get my daily login.
I just squeeze my thighs together and play it. It's not hard.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so
you guys.
that's a visualization for everybody, just so you can think about that. All right, cool. Well, let's get into it a little bit. So we're going to talk about early access games. You know, those games you see on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Steam Early Access. That's been a thing I kind of want to talk about a little bit because of how it's changed over the years. You know, you used to how it used to be is you used to get like excited for when a game's about to come out, and you would know it's going to come out because they'd be like, hey, we're going to give out like 10,000 beta keys, good luck. And then you would maybe get in the beta and be like, awesome, now I can't wait for this game to come out. And nowadays you just pay for alpha access, right? Or beta, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
buy our game, get access, thanks.
Or you buy a Steam game that's early access for 7 years, Rust, or which I'm not saying. Okay, yeah, or DayZ. Okay, yeah, and we're gonna go into this like which ones were good and bad and stuff like that. But like, I'm not saying that Rust taking 7 years, that Rust was a bad game. I think Rust was a good game, but like, it's just the whole meta has changed so far for early access, where like, you literally some of these games you're almost getting in early access wise, like in the early parts of the game now. Yeah. A game dev cycle is like early, close to 10 years, and you're getting in like year 3 and waiting 7 more years for them to actually finish.
Yeah, that's rough.
And so it's rough. It's just changed that way. And nowadays I get to where I expect if I'm buying a game early access, I mean, it's already bought, right? So in 5 years from now, I might actually be able to play a full game, which is great. But I have to remember when I'm buying early access that I might buy it and end up hating it before it's done because that's how it is now. You know what I mean?
Much, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's such a weird thing to think about how far in early access you actually start getting in these games, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have, let me ask you a question. Do you think that early access is good or bad for games? Because I have I have some
heard some-
people that have told me certain things. So
I think it's like a
And-
real mixed bag, honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
do you
Like-
think? Go ahead.
There are some games where like you get enough, like people who get early access, it's real 50-50 whether or not the people who are getting early access to actually give like, reviews on
Input.
the game and input or any of that, or if they're just doing it just to play the game early so they can go, haha, I played it early.
Yep.
Yay. And
Yeah.
like I don't even think it's actually 50-50. I think it's probably lower than that. I feel like the people who actually give inputs actually like probably less than 10% if I had to guess. It seems like it's significantly lower than the amount of people who just buy
Sure.
it to play it.
Sure.
And like for those games where there's actually enough input going into it and the developers actually listen to that input, like for example Hades, which is a game that like we have on the list later, like it came out surprisingly well because the developers were listening to the people. And then there's games where people just ignore all that input altogether, or they just go against it because they want to make the game that they were putting out to make originally, and it goes really poorly, which
Yeah.
there's obviously lots of examples of that too.
Yeah, true. Do you think? Do you guys think that there is a type of game that early access is helpful for? You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Indie games mostly, in my opinion, just because indie developers typically don't have funding of any sort outside of like maybe Patreon or GoFundMe's or like something like that.
Not only that, but indie developers live and die by their community, so they're more inclined to actually listen to the opinions of that community.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right,
I
okay.
definitely think I think it's good for those types.
Yeah,
Well,
I'd
and then
agree
you
with that
have
answer, too.
And again, we're gonna go through some games later and which ones we thought were good and bad and all that. But you gotta think there's some indie startups like the Chronicles guys who just take all the money and you never see a game,
Is
right?
that
You fuck-
Ilaria? I literally watched
Uh,
that video yesterday. About them.
Now, obviously they're getting sued because they didn't deliver anything. But
Yeah.
like, there are instances like that where, like, yes, early access can be good for indie developers because they, like you said, don't have the backing of like a big publisher or anything like that. So, I guess it just depends. It depends on the people, obviously, behind those games. So just like
Yeah,
anything,
right.
when you give somebody money, So, but yeah, okay, cool. Well, that's kind of what I was just thinking. Is there a type of game, not necessarily not indie people in particular, like
You mean like a genre?
is MMO or
Yeah.
MMOs better for early access? Do you think, or anything like that? Or-
Mm, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't really know. I think like of the
Like-
MMOs that we've done early access with, none of them worked.
None of them work, and then for more or not, like for any of the MMO ones, most of them are backed by like big developers, and they just don't take any of that input to heart. They set out to make the game that they want to make.
Yeah.
True.
Like,
yeah.
obviously, like I think New World has taken, like they were originally going down that path, and they're starting to go down the actually taking people's considerations into heart. But
True.
like that's an example.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, let's go into some of our categories. So we like to have lists. It lets us kind of cohesively or coherently, I should say, talk about the topic. Because like it would just be like stumbling all around normally. So we're gonna start off with good games we think, or games that we think were good, that had like an early access Kickstarter type thing. And there's some big names in here that you guys probably, some people may not know that some of these games were early access just because they're such good game. They have
Right.
such a, like, somebody heard from someone else like, hey, this is a great game because, it was an amazing game. You know what I mean?
Right.
It won
Uh,
awards.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, we'll just start down the list. I mean, the first one we have on our list right now is Hades, which is relatively recent.
It's
A
probably
recent
the most
game.
recent that's on here. Yeah.
Yeah,
As far
and
as
and
full release, yeah.
Full release,
Yeah. and it's like
It's so fucking good.
it's really
That
really
game is
good.
So
Yeah.
good.
Now I will say that first of all, is it Supergiant Games, right?
Yeah.
They have a pedigree already, so like that's almost a safe bet for early access. Like any of their old games are really good, with the exception, like and it's a very slight exception for me. Like it's just barely. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Pyre is the only game I didn't really like out of their games, but Bastion, amazing.
Bastion's so fucking-
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good game. Transistor, also a really, really good game. So they already had a pedigree, and so like when they put out a deal and it's like, hey, early access for this new game we're making, you can kind of make an informed decision with them, right? They're just not some rando making a brand new early access game. So that was almost no surprise, you know? We're like, okay, Hades, that's probably going to be good, at least. And it turned out to be really, really good. It's an amazing game. So,
And they
Even
released it
more
like
so than we thought.
freaking really fast after like the early access was the thing.
yeah, and now they did exclusive on Epic, so my timetable could be off, right? But I know it was in early access for a while, and then they did 1.0. Did they 1.0 and then when they released it on Steam and the other platforms? It was somewhere around there, I think, right?
No, they had Hades available for early access on Steam as well.
Did they? Okay, so it was after.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so anyways, but yeah, that's a good example. But that's also a good example of a publisher you already know and is established, even though they're kind of an indie company or whatever. You know they already make good games. So that one, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
was almost an easy one, right, to do. So
Yeah.
we can almost say the same for the next one. Well, it depends. So I actually I'm a little bit curious here. So Risk of Rain 2 is on our list.
hmm
Did you play Risk of Rain 1?
Yeah.
We all
You did?
Well,
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
Alpha did, but me, you,
I didn't,
and
yeah.
Charlie, I know.
I only
Have you
the
played
second.
you have played 2 Alpha? That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
If you played either one. Cuz we played Risk of Rain 1 and I had a great time with that game. Charlie introduced me to that game. I knew nothing about it. And we played it and it was really fun. It was cool unlocking all the characters and stuff. And then they're like, "Hey, we're going to have a Risk of Rain 2." So again, almost like another established, although to be honest with you, it's kind of a almost totally different game because the first one is it's 2D side scroller basically,
Yeah.
right? And then Risk of Rain 2 is a 3D version. So there is a risk there as far as it's not exactly the same type of game, right?
Mhm.
So what did you guys think about that? About Risk of Rain 2, like
I think like,
delivering.
there is a catch-22 on that as well, where it's not the same style of game, but like they recycled a lot of assets or ideas from the first game.
Uh-huh.
So like if you enjoyed the first game, you're probably more than likely going to enjoy this one because like
Mhm.
the ideas are basically the same, right? Even some of the items, if not all of the items, I can't think of any. No, there's some new items. Anyway, the majority of the items are as well are also items that were from the first game. So like, it was a lot of recycled ideas. So if you thought that they were going to do that, then hey, you got exactly what you wanted. And so you knew it was a pretty safe bet.
Well, yeah,
But-
and so the items and the characters, yes, but you have to remember that going from a 2D side scroller to a full 3D game, that play style is totally
Right.
different. But
that was totally different. And,
yeah,
like, whether or not it would work was
and how
a
that's
big
implemented, basically.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like even whenever I first played the game, I fucking hated it. Couldn't stand it. I was like, holy fuck, this is awful. But realistically, it was just because like you're going from, especially for me who played like as much Risk of Rain 1 as I had, like I was going from this mindset of playing it in this 2D environment to the mindset of playing it in the 3D environment. And like at first I fucking hated it because I was just trying to like play it like I was playing the other game, which is you can basically avoid things with the platforms, whereas there's not really a way to do that because they can shoot around the platform because it's 3D,
Right.
or they go above you and you're fucked. So like at first I hated it, but like I think it was one of those things where because the game is like so fundamentally like it had so many of the same aspects of the first game, like you get X items, you can start doing X builds with certain X characters, right? Like once I started to adapt to that, but just play it the right way, play it in this 3D setting, like I destroyed or
That-
not destroyed, I started to enjoy it more
Yeah.
because of the way that I started to attribute it to the first game.
Basically, that established lore almost kept you intrigued enough to keep going and learn how to play the new
Right.
version. Right.
Or like just the similarities between the two. Like
Yeah.
I had to get out of the mindset that it was going to be like the same game because it wasn't. And then I
Right.
had to just go, okay, well, what attributes are the same, and then go from there and like relearn it with that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
It's also worth
Uh,
noting it was published by Gearbox, so they do
Yeah.
have a pretty large publisher behind them there as well.
Right.
That's
I will
true.
say to counter your I guess original dissatisfaction with the game, Ian, is I was in the opposite. I was in the opposite field with you. I hated ROR1 because it was a 2D platformer.
Yeah.
And then when RO2 came out, I was like, this is my fucking jam.
Yeah, and that also goes to play with the fact that you like first-person shooters. I
Yep.
typically hate them.
Yeah, 100%. I prefer to be able to actually aim shit, in front of me versus having to like aim sideways on a 2D. Yeah,
Left or right, up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad you liked it because I know we spent a lot of time playing the game together,
play
and we
similar.
usually don't get to play shooters together just because the way we like games is completely
Yeah.
separate. So
Yeah, we like
Yeah.
our own things. That's
Cool.
why we'll probably never play with Alpha.
Well, then we go. Then we go back to games like what the next one we're gonna talk about. There are games that released a long time ago, and then all of a sudden the developer, the lead designer, somebody comes out. They have the rights to the game, and they decide they want to make a new version, or a sequel, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And that's kind of the case with Wasteland 2, and now 3 is also out now. Which I think they're launching new DLC soon, this week or next week. But anyways, but that started off as a Kickstarter as well. I believe it was, the lead designer or whatever came out and was like, hey, I want to make Wasteland 2. Wasteland 1 came out so many years ago, and so there's games like that, which I think kind of also work for the early access model, just because it's another. The person making the game may not be like an established publisher themselves, right? But they originally took part in the first game, and that creative process, and now they're like, hey, I want to make this second game because nobody else has made it, and I have the rights for it, and here it is.
I think that there's another game that we don't have on the list as well that did the same thing, which was like Dungeon Defenders.
Yeah. Okay.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, but I don't know if Dungeon Defenders goes in the good category, but that's just my opinion.
I
there.
mean, Brian says yes, and that's one person, eh?
I like it.
Well, I like the first one, but anyway, okay. Anyway, so Wasteland,
Never mind.
Wasteland 2, it was on Kickstarter, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and it turned out really well. And then they went on and made a 3. So I mean, obviously, people loved it or liked it enough to, that they can make another one. So that's another good one as well. Here's a big one for me. This one's a big one for me, and I bet you probably Brian. And again, I'm gonna have to bring Charlie up because this game, Divinity Original Sin, which a lot of people probably are fans of, was originally a Kickstarter. I believe so my memory sucks always. But I believe what had happened is at one point Charlie had showed it to me on Kickstarter, but I didn't back it, right? I was like, well, it looks really cool. I either didn't have the money or I did have the money. I just didn't want to spend it on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he ended up buying a 2-pack at least. He may have bought more than that, but I got one of his 2-pack or 4-pack or whatever it was. And that game was awesome. What a game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously they came out with a 2, which was also amazing.
Even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then some.
And then they're working on Baldur's Gate 3 right now, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, it's still in early access as well, so I don't really want to talk about it, but
Yeah,
the Divinity series is really, really, really good. And that was kind of out of nowhere. I didn't know anything about it. It was a new IP. And got kickstarted and I mean, one of the best, I think, modern, I should say,
RPG.
one of the best modern RPGs, turn-based RPGs there is.
Mhm.
I really like that series. It's really
Yeah.
good.
They did a fantastic job with it.
Yeah, and I did want to preface that by saying modern. Okay, y'all don't freaking beat me over the head because I said it was better than like Baldur's Gate or something. Okay, that was in the fucking early '90s. Get out of my life. Okay.
Also, wasn't really tired.
What'd you say?
I was about to say, was that really like? Because whenever I think Baldur's Gate from early '90s, I think about the PlayStation ones, which were not
No.
like turn-based.
No, before
Because
that.
that's my
Before
generation.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before those. But yeah, so that's turned out to be in a great series. They delivered. I mean, so that if they deliver the full game they say they're going to deliver, that's already
Which
in the
is
good
fucking
category
great.
for me. Usually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even
That's-
the early access stuff is pretty good as long as they keep doing what they did. Like and then fix
Right.
the bugs, obviously, because
Yeah.
the game's
Right.
pretty fucking buggy. But
Yeah, so it's pretty, what a good a good one for that column. It's just the fact that turned out great. They have a second one. They then picked up the Baldur's Gate series and doing something with that. Awesome. Amazing.
Mhm.
Another one, I didn't know this was a Kickstarter game until I looked it up, but Darkest Dungeon.
Yep.
Everybody loves that game. It's such a good game. I love that game, and I don't even play it that often, to be honest with you. I own it. It's great. I watched our buddy James play through it many times.
Yep.
That was a really awesome game. It's just really, really cool. And another really successful Kickstarter. And it's obviously there's a board game now. The Darkest Dungeon board game also was Kickstarted at one point. And it's going strong. And there's a lot of imitators out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would just say that was also one of the ones that, like, when I said it lives and dies by the community, that was one of them where it was going really poorly, and then like they started to take people's comments and reviews to heart, and they're like, okay, what do we need to change about it? And then it became like, this behemoth that it is now.
Yeah, it's
Because
great.
whenever it first came to early access, it was a mess. Holy fuck, it was a mess.
Well, and like you said, a lot of times, especially with these Kickstarter early access type games, you're right. It does live and die by the player. I mean, the people who early access it, because all it takes is you effing up or not listening to them enough times, and they're just gonna it's basically like Steam review bombing.
Yeah.
They're just gonna talk shit about it everywhere, and then you fail. But and that's kind of scary to think about as a indie
Especially as a smaller
company,
developer, yeah.
basically putting your hands or putting your all of your
Your
hard
chips on the
work
table.
into the hands of the people, going, hey, please, don't be too mad and review bomb me, so that now I have to go work at McDonald's. So
Yeah.
so Darkest Dungeon, what a good one as well. Undertale,
Absolutely.
another good one.
Oh yeah, that one took like the world by surprise.
Yeah, that was a good one too. It's a lot. Undertale is one I can't talk much about. I just wanted to add it on there because I know it was pretty big, because I haven't played it. I've seen some videos about it, but I don't know much about it. But it was a very good success. A lot of people say it's a wonderful game.
Mhm.
And I mean, so that's just another one I threw up in the good column because
And the developer's doing so well that he's making the second game for free, but his only stipulation is it'll be out when it's out. Don't expect me to rush it.
oh yeah, true, yeah. Well, so that's cool. That's cool to hear at least. Another turn-based RPG that kind of followed along the lines of Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale and those kind of ones were the Pillars of Eternity series 1 and 2. Also very well done. I played the first one quite a bit. I will say that my threshold for turn-based RPGs is very low nowadays.
They just take a lot of time.
I just don't have the time anymore to play
Yeah.
them. And unless I actually have like people that want to play it with me and so I have that interaction, I'm not getting it done,
Yeah, like our slick moves for Divinity.
Yeah. Sick moves with John. That's always a great one. So I never picked up the second one. It's actually on sale right now on GOG. I almost picked it up today, but I was like, I'm never gonna play this. Like, why? Don't do it. So I didn't. But it's on sale with it was on sale with all the DLC, and I was like, man, I should get this now if I'm gonna get it, and I didn't. So, but not to say it's not a good game. It's a very good game and obviously successful. So that's great. The last one I have on our list, which man, I still have fun with this game now, is Super Hot. How many guys? How many people have played that? Super Hot.
Hot.
I played it once at your house, and I never
Oh,
bought it. And I
no.
got my Vive, even though
That game is so good.
So for those of you who don't know what Super Hot is, it is. Didn't they come out with a non-VR version? By the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
yes,
They
it
did.
has a non-VR version.
Okay, so it's
It's not nearly.
in
as
my
deep.
mind, it's a VR game because that's how it
Yeah.
first came out. But I think they released a non-VR version.
It's
Um,
basically a video game.
but every time you like move, everything speeds up, right? So you have to
Right.
kind of like Matrix style slow mo, yeah. And you're supposed to be killing all these dudes in each level, and like the levels are pretty fast, like maybe 20 or 30 seconds at most.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's so cool. It's just so cool to go like slow mo and dodge the bullets, and like you can throw your gun and kill people. You can grab like pans or knives and just hit people with them. It's so awesome. It's such a good game.
If they throw like an
Really
arrow,
good.
you can catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're good
Shit's
enough.
fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that game's so fun, man. Yeah, we played that during our 48-hour charity stream a few
I
years
also
back.
argue that might be one of the only good VR early access games too.
Early access,
One
yeah,
of the-
probably.
Yeah.
So VR is a hot mess in general. You have to remember that
It's new technology. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
no,
newer. It's newer technology. A lot of the people who are jumping into the VR development like scene are all going to be new as well. It's not like established brands making stuff, unless it's
Sure.
fucking Skyrim, and then they're like, yeah, here, I mean,
Skyrim
here's-
again.
It's
here's
funny because they have one of the worst VR like,
Yeah.
titles.
it's trash, or like their Fallout one. They're like, yeah, we made it VR. It's so good, but it's not good.
Laggy
I don't
mess.
know. Fallout VR is immensely better than Skyrim VR.
I mean, maybe, but like, it's like shit, and then it's like a trash bag of trash. I mean, it was
Sure. I'd rather have the trash.
yeah, but like, it's just like, why? And then you have to pay like $50 still to buy it, even though you already
Wow.
own the game.
I paid $50 for both.
Oh
no
man.
rants.
Oh
rants.
no.
Rats.
Oh no.
No.
Played
Anyways,
both of them. That's great.
those, that's how it goes. But Super Hot, good game too. I really liked it. Okay, cool. Well, let's get into some bad games because I want to talk about these are more fun to
Trash.
talk about. These are more fun to talk about for sure. I'm gonna let Jiggly start off because he put this one on here. And he did mention it. He did mention it earlier.
So there was a lot of complaints about Subverse when it came out because it's in alpha right now.
It just
pre-access
recently
alpha.
came out too.
It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
came out like less than a month ago. Yeah. But this thing got backed like I think like over a year ago on
A ton
one
of money.
forum. Yeah, and they
Yeah.
got a fuck ton of money. So when it did get released, a lot of the fan base was upset with how like lacking it was.
Mhm.
But like, I don't know. I feel like it's just a bunch of neckbeards that just wanted like more stuff to jerk off to or something. Because honestly, for a game that has only been developed for like I don't know, maybe 2 years or so, like it has a ton of like good shit in it, and it's all like it's all like the movies and stuff that you get to watch are fucking phenomenal. They're all great.
Really,
They,
real
like,
well made. I
yeah,
got
very
you.
well made, like high def. They even have like 4K versions. You can just like hit a button and it flips to 4K. But it's
Nice.
like they're just mad that like the missions are like too basic. And I'm like, well, that's not what you bought the game for.
Yeah,
like,
so for those of
honestly,
you who
you-
don't know, like Subverse is kind of basically more of like a porn
It-
game
It
almost.
is a porn game. Yeah,
It's
it's a
got, like,
porn
a s-
game parody. It's how they
Yeah.
marketed it.
yeah, it's got like a full story and everything, right? But there's like it's
the
like
story's actually really fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of people were joking about. They're like, I actually play this game for the story, and everyone's like, ha ha ha, and then they get it and like, holy shit, the story's really good. It's not about. It's not about.
Stuck,
It's not about
stepbrother.
yeah, it's not about all the waifus because it's the game. Like they even call them waifus in the game. Like it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's
well,
it
it
is
is a parody, so they're
Yeah.
gonna kind of be up front with it. So
exactly. Yeah, it's quite good in my opinion. It's just the
Well, you
people
have to
were
think-
wanting like
you have to also be aware of the target audience and how like different people are going to interpret early access differently.
Yeah.
And so it
Yeah.
just depends. And like you said, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but if it's a porn game, like you said, there might be a lot more neckbeards than normal complaining. So that's how it goes. That's how it is.
Like a lot of people were just upset that certain characters, because what they did with the characters is they give them like their own personalities, and they actually like stick with their personalities whenever you enter like what's called Pandora, which is like where you get to watch the the fun stuff. And so, but like the problem is you can only have you unlock scenes by like doing missions with the waifus or whatever. Anyway, long story short is a lot of the waifus have very like specific kink like things, and so like a lot of the scenes when the game released were like related to the kinks that the waifus had, aka like tentacle porn or like getting, I don't know, like whatever the other ones are called. I don't know the actual names for them. Anyway, so a lot of people were just pissed off they didn't just have like vanilla like scenes and nothing but vanilla scenes. They're like, why is most of this lady,
well, because they grow attached to a certain waifu or whatever, and then they can't do what they want there. Yeah,
right.
I got you.
And so that's really what it was. A lot of people are upset that and then like because it's a turn-based RPG or it's a like space shooter. I guess your only options right now for actual like gameplay. So people were just like, it's so bland, and I'm like, yeah, sure. It's also early access. Like
it's not done.
You only get you get to see how many characters you eventually will have unlocked, and like you get 3 out of like 15 right now. So like there's tons of shit they gotta add.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Again, we're going back to this, early access Kickstarter stuff. That's a negative to the game, as if you're going to do that, you just have to be prepared and ready to address all those complaints, the entire development process, and whether and if that makes a game good, bad, in the long run. I mean, you could have had all intentions. Your game might have been an awesome game, actually, if you hadn't have given everybody access and got, been berated by people, every week and having to change stuff on the fly and blah, blah, blah. But you did give it early access, and then you kind of lost sight of what you were trying to do, or, it changed so much. It just didn't even make sense anymore. You just never know, but some games like we've talked about, some of our good ones in the list there, they take that direction well, and then they implement it, and it turns out to be amazing. So it's just it's really hard. It's really hard to juggle, I think. Let's move to the next one, which I have a personal stake in, and I hate it so much. We're big Minecraft fans, or at least I was. Brian, I think, was. Ian was at one point. I don't think he's played Minecraft in a long time.
Whoa.
When's the last time you played Minecraft? Oh, okay.
Ask Bubby.
Yeah.
Ask Bubby and John.
But we used to play all the time. It was a great game. It was really fun. Technically, Minecraft's an early access game, but we're not talking about it. But anyways, we saw this new game. It's called Cube World. It looked badass. It was voxel based.
It was badass.
Yeah, you're right. The part of the game that we played was really amazing. Voxel based. It was you could build. It was very similar to Minecraft. There were all these things that were going to come out. It was like a team of two. It was like a husband and wife, right? I think
there's a husband and wife that were German, I think.
Yeah, overseas. It was going to come out with all this stuff. It's going to have like a cool questing system, blah, blah, blah. All this really cool, like modify your weapon, do all this crazy stuff. We bought into the alpha. This wasn't a Kickstarter. It wasn't an Indiegogo. It wasn't even on Steam. It was just straight off their website. Yeah.
You had to know about it. Like, honestly.
Yeah. The word had to be spread basically by mouth.
It was one of those games where like someone made it was like Donkey, I think, made it, or Kiori made a YouTube video about
somebody,
it.
yeah.
I was like, yo, guys, check this out. And it's literally how we told people, like,
yeah, and then we told a bunch of people, were like, man, this game looks awesome. Let's get it. And so we got it. We talked about the early access stuff. We're like, man, this is really cool. Like, check this out. Look at this thing. Look what we can do right now. This is neat. And then radio silence for a really fucking long time. Years, I think. Never heard anything. Never, no more updates. Blah blah blah.
No,
Just
we got an update like 6 months after,
Mhm.
and then from that point on, we didn't get
Like
anything
one-
else.
like
Not
one
even
tweet.
A picture. Yeah, it was a tweet. Yeah, we didn't get anything else for like 4 years, and then we got like a tweeted photo of like of like something
we're
he
back
added.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then nothing again for like another year and a half.
And then
And-
he was like, "Yeah,
and
look at
then-
this quest system I added."
Yeah.
And then it released on Steam in 2019.
Yep.
And they were like, we're going to do more stuff. And I'm pretty certain they
No.
didn't.
It released on Steam and also had an update. It was the update that everybody was waiting for. However, the update, all it did was completely fuck the game over. He made it.
Oh, yeah. He broke all the
he
skill
made-
trees and he did.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
region, it was regional loot. So if you moved from one region to the other, you had to fight all new bosses to get loot you could even use. It was
Yeah.
so bad.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they put out the update and it broke a bunch of stuff. Now,
Yep.
I will say, Cube World, if you own it and you're real sad because it sucks, there's a whole community on Reddit that have modded the F out of that game. And it is really good. If you want to play it, you can go out and get all the really cool mods for it. And it's pretty fun. I will say there is a saving grace there, but the game by itself originally turned out to be a flop. You got a game. It wasn't what it was originally promised. It never really was fully finished. It almost should go in the ugly category, except for they released the patch, put it out on Steam, and they said, okay, this is basically complete. But it made the game worse, to be honest with you.
No,
So
not kind of like the guy Von Funk or whatever his name was, he was gonna keep working on it.
Yeah.
The problem he had is he has a lot of he did like an open letter to like fans before it released on Steam, and he basically said he was like the amount of like negative feedback he got because it was taking him so long to code it by himself basically.
right, yeah.
That it made him not want to like work on the game, and he was like, and
Yeah.
that was like the biggest issue. He was having a hard time wanting to work on it. So he did an open letter to the fan base that explained everything. And he was like, "Look, guys, it's gonna come out, and it's gonna be missing a ton of stuff that I want to add. I just need you to be patient with me." And what did the fan base do? The same shit they did the first time. And they fucking lit him up. They bombed it with fucking bad reviews and all this
Yeah.
other shit. And then like there was the good side of the fan base is guys, don't do this. This is exactly what he said not to do if you want him
Yeah.
to work on the game. So then what happened? He was like, "All right, I'm done." He was like, "Good luck setting up." He was like, "I don't know when I'll update it," but he basically went back to his hole because the fan base like just didn't support him enough. Essentially, he
Yep.
said the first time, like when Cube World first launched, the first year or 2 years that he didn't talk to anybody, he was receiving like fan letters and shit in the mail saying that they hope to see updates soon and that they're they want him to do good work and all this other stuff. And but unfortunately the fucking fan base just decided to make the guy feel like shit. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no. To answer Indefinite's question, you have to buy it again. You do have to buy it again if you're gonna get it on Steam. But there's no reason
if you
to.
owned it originally, then you automatically got it on Steam.
Oh, well, I never
you-
got it on Steam, so I don't
You
know.
had to
how
go
that
to
works.
the website and like log in one time, and it gives you a Steam key. Like it emails you. A
I
Steam
might
key.
try that just to see if I can get it on there, but it doesn't matter because you can just use the alpha version, and they got updates out on the Reddit as well. So, anyways, okay, so there's that one. Sad times.
Yeah.
That would have been a great game, I think. I want to talk about a more popular game series that you knew was in trouble from the beginning. So, Torchlight series, great series. First one was awesome. Second one was awesome. And then they're coming out with Torchlight 3, which immediately I was like, awesome. I'm going to buy this as soon as it's available.
Oh, so hyped for it, too.
I need to check, but I believe they announced Torchlight 3, and then afterward they said it was going to be an MMO, right? They didn't announce it was an MMO at the beginning, at the
Yeah,
very
they just
beginning.
said that it was in the works. Yeah.
Right. Torchlight 3 is in the works. Then they said, hey, it's going to be an MMO, right? And so okay, so at first I was like, maybe, but I already had a bad feeling. As soon as they said it's an MMO, I was like, uh-oh, this might be a problem.
And then they clarified, oh, it's not really an MMO. It's just there's hub worlds where people can meet up, sort of like Guild Wars 1.
Yeah. But then, like you said, they kind of did that, and then they just did a total 360, and they're like, no, now it's just Torchlight 3. It's not, because in between when it was the MMO, it was Frontiers, right? Torchlight Frontiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it the way it flip flopped, I was like, this is not good. This is not going to be good.
There's someone fucking up somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, something's jacked. There's too many ideas happening for this one game. It's not gonna be a good time. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't played it yet, but it's because all the reviews have been so bad.
It's also because you keep asking me whether or not it's worth it. I keep telling you no.
And as Ian, he's like, not yet, still trash. But man, that's a problem with. That's where we were talking about earlier, kind of with the problem with early access games is, you give people early access to a game where you have one idea, and then as the company, you change your idea, and you change your idea again, and then so your idea gets so skewed from the original that the people who originally bought that game for what they thought it was going to be don't want that game.
Happen.
Yeah.
That's not even like the worst part.
They don't want
about
the new game, you know? They're like, wait, this isn't what I signed up for.
The real issue with this one wasn't even that. It was the whole not listening to your community thing that I was talking about earlier.
Right.
Like there was a point in the alpha and in the betas where like it was a decent game. It would have been fine. And then they just fucked it.
Redid
like,
it.
They took every bit of like community suggestion and they're like, we could do that. We're not going to, but we could. And so they just try to like rework the system altogether, and then they were like, all right, well that won't work, and so they just tried to reintroduce the system but not the full way that they had before in like the alpha, and then it was just like this whole fucking thing, and now it's still like that, and instead of trying to fix it and make it like a non-broken game, they're instead introducing a new class.
Yeah. Well, and so my issue with it was, besides Ian telling me all the time that it's bad, and I mean you can go read about how it's not good, but
yeah.
my bigger issue too was I actually wasn't even really interested in it after a while, because they put classes in and it's neat. They're classes that you don't typically see. You're like, what is this? It's weird, but it's not. It wasn't. They weren't.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting concept. Right. But they weren't classes that made me excited to play the game, to be honest with you. I was like, okay. I mean, I guess you can have this gimmicky guy, or you can be this gimmicky guy, or you can be a mage, but it's really just a mage, like a very specific kind of mage. Like, I was just like, I'm not feeling this game. It doesn't feel good to me. And then, to be honest with you, I played the first and second one. I liked those games, but I also really, really liked how many mods you could put on those suckers. Yeah. And I'm a big modded game guy. I know some people like to play those games pure, but I love putting mods on any game I can.
Look at Divinity.
Yeah. You could add more classes. It gives me so many more options. I'm a guy who likes so many options. I have too many options. I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know why.
Really,
but
the other thing is, like, if it's a game that has been traditionally known for having mods, and then all of a sudden their newest one doesn't have mods, it always makes me weary. Oh, that's because they're just going to put in paid shit that you have to buy later to have these new classes and stuff. And that's exactly what they're doing right now, too.
Yeah.
Like, now they're adding in a new class. You have to pay for it, though, which if they had mods enabled, probably would have already existed.
Right.
And it would be free.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I remember we played like the second one. You could get like WoW classes in there. They'd be like, "This is a paladin. This is a WoW paladin. Have fun."
There was like,
I'm like, "Oh, sick."
Dope, like Shadow Mage shit.
This is like this is like a necromancer. Like, there's no necromancer in the base game, but here's a cool one. Yeah, so it was really cool to see like those mods and mod support. So that's not in there, but yeah, it's just one of those games that it was on one track, switch to a different track, switch back, and it's like, you get pieces and parts from both of those tracks, and then they don't make a lot of sense, and the game doesn't come together as smoothly as it should, and that's sad times, you know. The next one on the list is Starbound. Now, I'm gonna say, before we go too far, because Ian put this on here, okay? I think Ian even put this in the ugly category. Okay.
Hey, I did.
But anyways,
we're also trying to figure out what the difference between bad and ugly. That's not on me, motherfucker.
I would put it in the ugly category too, to be fair.
Anyways, I'm gonna just start off with saying that I liked Starbound, but I didn't play it on its full release, so I can't give you an
It's
actual
worth noting,
review.
it's in the bad category for the base game. I fucking love the game with mods. Without mods, though, it is a shit game.
So Terraria, great game. We played a lot of that. And I love the game. Starbound, could be labeled as a Terraria like clone in like this, maybe the style, you know?
Yeah, but add sci-fi.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi.
Basically.
People would say a sci-fi version of Terraria, basically. And it was pretty neat. I like the fact that I like the different type of weapons you can get and stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty cool. But I did only play the early access for a little while, and I never actually played it when the game was fully
played it
released.
when, like, So in the early access, like they didn't even have the ability to change all the planets and stuff and go to all the different planets and stuff. It was just like one planet. It was basically Terraria, right? It was just Terraria with, space involved. You have a
Yeah.
spaceship, and that was it, right? Like you could go to your spaceship, and you go to this planet. That was all that was in the early access, and then eventually they introduced the planet system stuff.
Where you could go to
too.
different ones. Yeah.
This game's gonna be fucking dope.
Yeah.
And then like they introduced the story part of it. That's where I think it went to shit. Because the story part of it, you guys don't know because I always beat it before you guys get back up the next day. It's god awful, and you're welcome.
Okay.
But
So
like,
Ian
it
was
forces-
just saving us from the story. Is what he was doing.
honestly, like, go do it. Feel free.
Uh-huh.
Legitimately, the story is you going to like different planets to find like whatever the fuck race it is, and then scan a bunch of shit, and then you can do a dungeon.
So it's
the
pretty
dungeons,
bland
it's-
as far as.
It's really fucking annoying too because so like it gives you a hint. It didn't do this initially, but now they've added it so it gives you a hint. But initially, when it first full released, they were like, go to, or whatever first full release, they're like, yeah, get scans of these. And now that it says, yeah, you can find these on temperate planets that are in a temperate star or whatever the fuck. You're
Gives you like a
okay.
clue, basically. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not every planet like that, right? So you might have to go to like 3 or 4 of them before you actually find one. And then you have to scan a bunch of shit. Not everything's scannable. It like glows green if you hover over it to scan it. And then like sometimes you just get boned and there's not enough shit to scan on the planet that you're on. So you have to find another planet that also has this shit.
Gotcha. Because it's like a percentage
Fucking
completion or
trash.
whatever.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
there's like a bar that fills up.
Gotcha.
It's fucking awful. And like one of them, you have to go underwater too to like scan it. And like if you haven't farmed up to a certain point, like you have like the underwater breathing, or if you're not like an underwater breathing class, like or race, it's
Makes it
fucking- you're welcome.
difficult.
Yeah, I stand by it. You're welcome.
The next two I just wanted to mention. Mighty Number 9, for those of you who don't know, is a Mega Man kind of clone, and I believe I need to check, but it was one of the people who helped with Mega Man made this game, and it turned out being total trash. As far as even
The big booty.
it was so bad that even like the frames were bad in the game. Like it was, when you played the game, it felt laggy because of the lack of frames. It was really terrible.
So it's worth noting, I never watched or played this myself. I've watched it.
Yeah.
Every person I watched it on, I was like, dude, what the fuck is up? Are they just recording? Is recording just really bad for this game?
No.
And then it took one video where the guy was like, no, by the way, this clips that you're seeing that are stuttering, this isn't me. This is the game. It's like,
Yeah.
how the fuck?
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's Mega Man graphics basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it got a lot of backing, a lot of hype because it was the guys from Mega Man making it. Basically, it was like a new Mega Man clone, whatever, and it just turned out being really shitty. So I just wanted to mention it because it needed to be on the bad. They delivered. You got the Mighty Number 9. Like they didn't not come out with it right, but it was just really bad. And the other one on the list I want to just mention real quick is Goddess, which Charlie's gonna laugh at probably. The company that made the game Populous, which was a god game, if you want to think of it like that. Probably more popular game that you can relate to is Black and White series. Black and White and Black and White 2, where you played like a quote unquote god, right? And like you were in charge of a planet and like making the people and everything. Populous was a game like that, and these guys were making a new game called Goddess, which turned out to be really shitty as well. I don't know. They got a lot of backing. We got the game. When you first got the game, all you could really do on the planet is wander around and like build like 3 buildings. Oh my god, dude. It was really bad. It was not a good time. I played it like one time for like an hour and I haven't looked back at this point. So the last game I want to talk about in the bad category, which I didn't really want to put in the bad category, but I have to put my personal thoughts, I think, to the side a little bit for this, is Star Citizen.
Yeah.
If I had a choice, with how I feel about the game personally, I think that Star Citizen will eventually be in the good category. But Star Citizen has earned so much money.
Dude. Oh my god.
Millions upon tens of millions, hundreds of millions actually, in this game. And it's been in its Kickstarter was in 2012, so it's been 9 years. And it's not done. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. It's not completed. All right, so people are like, wait, it's not completed, so it's obviously a trash game. But what I will tell you, and a lot of people, so Star Citizen also gets compared to Elite Dangerous a little bit. Okay, but what I'm gonna say is I'm okay with putting in the bad right now. I think it will go to good, and some of the things I will say, the reason why I think it may even deserve to be in good right now and not bad is one, don't get me wrong, Elite Dangerous is a good game, but Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen are not on the same level. They are not games of the same scope. So I feel like that's not a good one to talk about, you know? Yeah. Elite Dangerous started out as just a spaceship game. So I think Elite did it better as far as how they released their game. Elite made a game and they said, hey, this is our space game. You fly a spaceship. You can, customize it. It looks badass. You can go to space stations. You can do trading. You can do dogfighting, blah, blah, blah. Then a few years later, they're like, okay, now we've released where you can go on to planets with a vehicle. Okay. They added that part. It was extra money to do that. It was DLC. It was another $50 game, but they added all this stuff to do with planets. And now this year they're coming out with where you can actually walk around and have your guy out and like do stuff on planets with like gunplay and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So they do that, like, bump, and you have to pay for each one of those $50 each time. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that's how Elite Dangerous did it. Whereas Star Citizen, they had a Kickstarter. You could pay as low as $30. Okay. $30 will get you the game and it will get you a ship in Star Citizen. But you could pay $20,000, okay, and get like some crazy amounts of ships. All right. In any case, they've just been pushing the game further, adding more features. And at this point, there's almost no end in sight, right? Nobody can see an end, and they're like, when is this ever going to be done? 20, or even like 10 more years from now.
I think the biggest concern for me is like, when is it going to be playable to the point where I can actually like want to play it every day?
Yeah,
like Elite Dangerous, there's enough content where you can actually play it every day, and probably never run out of shit to do. I mean, sure, it's kind of repetitive, but
right.
Like, and Star Citizen, you can't do much of anything.
No, you can do a lot of stuff now. So that's what I was going to say. So Star Citizen now as a game is playable. There is quite a bit you can do in Star Citizen. But the amount of money, so this is the issue, and I think this is what a lot of people see. The amount of money that Star Citizen has gotten compared to what the game is right now there's no comparison. Like, you know what I mean? Like, flying the ships is really fun. To be able to go in your ship, like, or fly your ship, get out of the cockpit, walk around in your ship, do shit while you're in the ship while it's flying in space. Jump out into space if you feel like it, like all that freedom, it's amazing. Like I love all the stuff that's already in the game now. It's just that they only have like 5 planets you can go to right now, right?
Right.
They only have like this one mission of this one mission type. They only have one of them right now. They only have one of this one mission type. They might have two of this mission type, but they don't have like, 100 or whatever, whatever the
Right.
scope's supposed to be. They also don't have like probably like 70% of the features they want to put in the game,
Right.
And so there's a lot of stuff that's just incomplete, and then that's what puts it in the bad category. It's
Isn't
just
that also the game where like if you have to like wait on a train to actually go out to your ship, but the train takes like X amount of time?
there are trains on certain worlds, but it doesn't take too long. I mean, a couple minutes, and then you got to
Sure.
ride the train. Yeah,
'Cause I
so it's
remember
all
somebody
like
crying about that.
it's all quote unquote real time. So like you ride the train, there's not a loading screen per se. You got to ride the train
Right,
to the place.
yeah.
But anyways, but it's really good. It's really in depth. I like what they've done with it so far. But I'll give you an example as well. Kickstarter, like I said, 9 years ago, I got again another game, Charlie, that led me onto. By the way, there's a theme here. I got the
Charlie's a
merchant.
good guy.
Yeah, I got the merchantman pack. For like 300. I think I've spent about. I think it's $350 total. Charlie did something for my birthday and gave me a good portion of that, if not all of it. I don't think he gave me all of it because I don't think Charlie would have given me $350 of shit. But in any case, he started me off with giving me a good portion to my stuff. And then but that ship that I bought for $350 still isn't out 9 years later. Right? So there's stuff that people got in the Kickstarter that they still haven't seen. You know what I mean? So that's a big turnaround. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you expect people to be 100% happy with what they've got when they can't even use their own ship? Now, they give me like little, quote unquote test ships, that I can use so that I have something to fly. It's not like I can't fly anything because I don't have a ship because they haven't made it yet. But it's not the ship I wanted, right? So
Yeah.
You have to spawn your ship and then you have to run out of an airlock to it. Yes, yeah. You have to do all that kind of stuff. But no, he's right. There's a train on the one planet. I don't remember the planet names. There's a train from the market district.
The only reason I
To
remember
the-
it is because
the-
like apparently if you log off, it takes you back to your house and you have to go through the like train ride again. Is
Yeah.
one of the
So
issues that's running into.
from that district to the shipyard or whatever you want to call it, space station, you have to take a train there. That's the train he's talking about. I know what he's talking about. I know where that is. And then when you're there, yes, you have to basically summon your ship to a landing pad, and then you got to run out there to it, get in it, take off, blah blah blah. But anyway, so I don't know. I really like the game. The amount of content they have in there is cool, and you see it progressing. It's not like it's dead, but there are a lot of questions like, okay, is this ever going to actually get done though? So I understand the people's dislike of that game. I'm on the optimistic side still, even though it's been 9 years. You have to remember, like, dev time on a game really is about 10 years, and I doubt that. I'm not saying that they're going to get it out next year either, but that's not far-fetched. You know what I mean?
Right.
As far as 10-year dev time, like that happens all the time. But and they also have a single player of that game that's supposed to come out, and that is being voiced by really big voice actors. Like they had Mark Hamill in there. They have a bunch of big names, which they may have wasted a lot of their money on. There's been talk about that, but so all that kind of stuff, takes, you got to take into account. But obviously it's not a done game, so we chalk it in the bad because it's been 9 years and you still don't have a complete game. So that's okay. I'm not gonna put Ashes of Creation in the bad because it's about to come out, so you could suck it.
It's okay that you think that.
We can add Ashes Creation. I mean, it suffers basically the same fate. It's a game that a lot of money's been poured into. It has really, really, really big expectations is the problem for it, I think.
I think the only reason why I would put it in this list, the reason why I did, is just because the fucking shop has $375 packs that people keep fucking buying. It
Yeah,
just
well,
looks like a scam game.
it's for that alpha access. But the other thing to note here is Star Citizen. I mean, a lot of these early access games have ones that are thousands of dollars. So yeah, I mean, like Shroud of the Avatar, a game that came out on Kickstarter, okay, made by the guy who did Ultima Online, okay,
I played that.
came out. It's not a bad game. It's not the best game. I liked it enough that I'm glad I bought it, I guess. But the thing is with that game, you could spend 20 grand and you get to have your own city, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
So Kickstarter games already, just in general, have stuff like that, and it's ridiculous. It's just crazy how much money you can dump in. If you really wanted to, you could.
Are these
And
real? Are you talking real prices? Like
yeah,
Oh no, he's
Twenty-
being very literal. Yeah.
100%.
what? Give me. Can someone explain to me, for someone who can't understand that, why a video game, in-game whatever, would cost anything near 1,000, let alone 20,000?
Because it's in-game perks.
You get in-game shit, basically.
Permanently, like as long as the game's running, you get that.
So like if you in Star Citizen, for example, okay. So I'll just do this because it's the easiest one, and I've bought into it,
The
right?
one we just talked about too. Yeah.
Yeah, the one we just talked about. If you spend $30, you get the game. Okay. So there you go. You could just spend $30 and you're done. All right. And you even get a ship. It's just really shitty and small. It's like a starter ship, right? So for
Sure.
$30, you're in and you're done. You're fine. Or you can spend any along the scale of 100 all the way to, like I was saying before, like 15 grand. Okay. And you could get a different kind of ship, or as far as those like $15,000 ones, you get like a fleet of ships, okay, that you have access to. Why is this useful? It's almost it may not be useful, but a lot of the ships, when you buy them, get what's called lifetime insurance. So it's a perk. If you were to buy into it, you get the lifetime insurance, which means when your ship explodes, it gets replaced, right?
Okay.
Normally, okay, you can still get that kind of insurance in game, but you have to pay the in-game currency to insure your ship. That way, if it blows up, you get all your ship back, right? That's kind of how Elite works. You got to pay for your insurance for your ship so that you can get it back. Also, it gives you access to that ship instead of having to wait and accrue that money in game to buy the ship, because all the ships you can get for that kind of money, you can just get in game. There's no access. There's no exclusive access to ships, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now some other games, like I was talking about in the Shroud of the Avatar game, where you spend 20 grand, okay, you get like basically what they call a capital city, which is a city that has like so many shops in it, has room for so many houses for player housing, etc., etc., etc. You get all of that, and that, I mean, if you're the only one who buys a $20,000 pack, that's the only city that's that way, basically. Does that make sense? So like you get exclusive shit. Now, is it worth it? Maybe not to you, but to somebody who's like a huge fan of Ultima Online and like, oh man, I can have this whole city that's my city that people live in. Yeah, like I'm a king in this game from a game that I really liked before. Oh yeah, that's worth 20 grand. I don't need a new car. It's somebody who doesn't need the money anyway, obviously. You know?
Yeah.
So, and there's a ton of games like that out there, all Kickstarter games. So yeah, I mean that's how it is. So and Ashes, when you talk about there's a $375 pack, that's pennies in fucking early access. It's dumb. But anyways, I also do have early access for Ashes. I don't have Alpha 1. I don't want to spend that much money on it. But I have high hopes for Ashes as well. And I'm really, really hoping they deliver on a lot of their stuff. If they do, it'll be a really good game. But you can put it in bad. But if you're putting stuff in bad, here's the thing. If you're putting stuff in the bad category for early access because they have packages that are worth $1,000, fuck, man. You might as well put 90% of early access games because they all have that shit.
We're gonna find them all. Let's go.
Yeah. So anyways, but we can put Ashes in there for now. It's fine. But they are coming. Their alpha's coming up this month, I believe. Wait, was this April? I think it's May, so it's next month. So at least we're gonna start seeing that, and see how it goes. So let's talk about let's go through the uglies real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on them. Uglies for me, there's been some really bad ones, but I want to point out Pathfinder MMO made a ton of money. What makes the Pathfinder MMO ugly? They did a Kickstarter so they did one Kickstarter and made, I can't remember, a couple $1 million, okay, to basically concept the MMO, okay? Then, once they had the MMO concepted, they did a second Kickstarter to actually start making the game. A second Kickstarter. So the delivery of the first Kickstarter was, we made a concept, here it is. Then they made a second Kickstarter and said, now we're making the game. Oh, nice, okay, cool. They said it was going to have all these specific things in it. You know, like here's this, it's going to be just like Pathfinder. You're going to be able to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into the details because nobody's going to know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, they said it's going to have all these things. And then when they came out with like their alpha, it had basically none of those things. It was totally opposite. Like you didn't get anything that they said they were going to give you, basically. And what happened was they ran out of money. And so they were like, listen, we're running out of money. So the only way we can finish making this game, so that's a big no-no right there, right? When people run out of money, when they run out of money and they're like, oh, we need more because we didn't use our money wisely or whatever happened, right? Or we made the scope too big and we didn't realize it was going to cost this much. I mean, that happens too. But either way, it was mismanaged, you know? And so they were like, we're out of money. So what we're going to do is you guys go ahead and pay the subscription monthly to play our alpha so that we can make money to continue making the game. They wanted you to subscribe to the MMO that was in alpha phase. Also, by the way, when you kickstarted Pathfinder, and I kickstarted Pathfinder, by the way, so this is from personal experience. But when you kickstarted Pathfinder and you made your account, as soon as you made your account in the alpha, it used the free time you got, the free sub time you got in the alpha, and you weren't getting it back when they released the game. So that perk you got for not having to pay the subscription for however long because you backed them was used in the alpha. And so there's just a bunch of bad stuff that happened there. And then eventually they were like, okay, well, not enough people are subscribing because who's going to subscribe to an alpha to play it?
Yeah,
nobody.
Was like, fuck you.
And they're like, okay, well, we're going to skeleton crew it. And then they skeleton crewed it for a little while. Like they're like, this is going to take a long time to make because we have like 3 people working on it. And then eventually it's just, I mean, I think it's still up right now, but like nothing's going to happen with it. It's basically a failure, you know? So that's, to be honest with you, now you lose your money either way, right? Pathfinder, and then I'll just segue into the other one. Illyria, where you didn't get anything, okay?
Oh my gosh.
So Chronicles of Illyria, they had a Kickstarter.
You were in that too?
I wasn't in that one. I didn't do it, but that was a game I really wanted to play. Like, I really thought it was going to be good.
The concept was awesome.
Yeah, it was an amazing concept. I thought it would be really cool. And then they came out with nothing, and everybody got boned out of their money because they got absolutely zero nothingness at all.
Nothing.
The best thing they got was a website with screenshots.
Yeah, you know what's the worst part about it? Every week, maybe month, maybe 2 months, you'll get a thing, an email from the Kickstarter, and it'll be like, this month in the development process, here's the way they orange. The way they talk is like they're already playing it, and there's a huge community already in it, and there's already this world being developed and going, and it's like, well, where's my fucking copy?
Yeah,
I backed you.
Yeah,
why am I not included in this? It's like, fuck, man.
Yeah, so you get nothing out of that one, but I would say that Pathfinder's worse because you did get something.
Yeah.
And like you got a taste of it. And first of all, for Pathfinder, it wasn't even what they said it was going to be, but you still got a taste of it. So you're like, oh, well, this might actually be real. And I think this is what's going to be the ultimate ugly for me, is if Star Citizen eventually peters out and like says, oh, well, we're not putting it out or whatever. Because if that happens, with Star Citizen, there's been a lot of really good stuff that like when you go and play it, like, this is awesome. This is going to be such a good game. That if it ends up going, oh, we're done, you know, we're closing the doors, it's gonna be such like a blue ball moment right there. It's just like, all right, I'm done. You know, this sucks. But anyway, so Chronicles, the Chronicles and Pathfinder, those are two MMOs that failed pretty hard. And those are ugly to me because you didn't really get anything. You didn't get delivered anything that you were looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I threw Stomping Land in there because it was a big survival, like dinosaur Ark style survival game that failed miserably. Another one that failed really bad. And then we got our favorite, which was originally a mod, DayZ, the mod. We're not talking about that one. That one's great. They decided to make a standalone, and I own this game. I have not played it recently, so I don't know what it's like now, but it's been a lot of years. It's been, when did it release on Steam? Does anybody know?
Jeez.
Fuck.
It's gotta be like 8 years now, maybe 9.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's look it up real quick. DayZ. It's still $45, by the way.
I think I own
$45.
it, so fuck me, I guess.
Oh, it has like a official release date, so somebody will have to Google it. It says 2018, but it's definitely been out longer than that. Anyways, we bought this so long ago. I mean, I have videos from it on YouTube from like I want to say 2011, so 10 years ago or so, maybe 9 years. But anyways, that's one of those games that it was like Rust. Okay, listen, I'm gonna side by side it with Rust and tell you the difference. It was like Rust. Rust came out. DayZ came out. Rust, it was okay in concept. Like stuff was working. It was real buggy. They went through a bunch of iterations. They made the game better. They got to a released product, and it was really awesome. Awesome. DayZ, buggy, non-optimized, didn't have everything I said it was going to have. That's still happening. Now it's 10 years later. It's still happening. Now it's officially released. It's still happening. What the fuck? Like,
Or you could just go play the mod.
yeah, or you play the mod, which is amazing. Yeah, that's still amazing. But yeah, so it's like
that's another just big fuck you for that one. It's just
right,
like,
yeah, because you could just
you
do it for
could
free,
buy
basically. Yeah,
that sucks, dick. Or you could just go play the mod. That works.
yeah, and so so that's why it sucks. That's what's in the ugly. It's just because some of those early games or early access Kickstarter games that come out and they say, hey, we're done, this is the game, and then it's just still almost the same trash that when it came out as alpha. That's very disappointing, and I that's just, you get what you get sometimes. It's bad luck, but that's how it goes. So
after going through this list, I think I have a better idea of what genres fail, which genres succeed. If it's single player or meant for single player, it seems to do pretty okay. But if it's multiplayer, it seems like they have no idea of how big of a scale that actually is, and they fail.
Right? Yeah. Especially for like we're talking about. If you're talking about more indie guys or guys just starting out, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this badass multiplayer game, and they're like, wait, holy hell, this is a lot of work. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things. I always thought it'd be cool to make a game, but I can't even put my mind about trying to make just a single player. So I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's not going to be for me. It's got to be a different life. So, do you want to touch on the other one, Bro Pencil?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about what's, like you said, that's already out there, right?
Yeah, what we've seen, and that's Dead Matter.
What we've seen, yeah, Dead Matter.
So why? My question for you is, why is it in the ugly category for you?
Okay, so for the stage we're in with technology, the biggest problem that I think left such a sour taste was how the backers and partners got their keys.
Okay.
Like, it took weeks for them to figure it out after when it said it was launched, right? They did it in waves. It was super weird. And then like, see, I'm trying not to say stuff, but
one thing I'll say about it, just as you're thinking, is I watched some streams of it because they did some development streams, Which is fine, and it's in early. I understand it's in early access, but the game just seems so clunky. It actually reminded me. It worried me because the clunkiness reminded me of DayZ. We just talked about DayZ, and I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't
So that's
look.
the thing. Like with this game, when their mission statement, I guess their concept was to make a game that wasn't DayZ, right? That was
Sure.
good parts of DayZ, but done way better.
Right.
And that was from the start. That was what it was aiming to be.
Mhm.
And yeah, man. I mean, I think we did 1 or 2 dev streams with some of the devs, and it was rough. It was. We understood. I understood. I was a huge supporter of these guys from day one. I found them. I backed them. Joined the Discord. You know, got in. You know, pretty tight with them. You know, supported them on our stream, for the entire like 2 years. Right. We had, you know, a panel for them. We were promoting them. We were talking it, hyping it based off, you know, what we were given. You know, lots of great screenshots. They looked amazing, and it just really, 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 really fell short.
Well, and I will say that also watching those streams, there was a lot of detail in that
Yes.
game that seems really cool.
Yes.
You know what you know what I would love. And now I'm just what do you want to call it? Romanticizing about this, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know what you want to say. It would be badass to get an Escape from Tarkov spin-off where it was
Yes.
survival. Where it was survival with zombies. Like
I was just talking about this
just with
today.
the parts of the guns, like you could find them and build your own weapon and like keep it and put it in your house or whatever. But like
everything Tarkov is, but make it open world survival.
yeah, I think that'd be badass. But anyways,
yeah.
let's not
So
get that.
yeah, I mean, like yeah, I mean the game. I mean, to this day, the art style and everything has serious potential. And to me, at this point, I feel like their best move is to, you know, do that radio silent. Go, don't be so public about everything. Put your neck down and fix it. And
Yeah.
I think they maybe, that's a long stretch of a maybe, can pull back from it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's like what path
But
do
they
you
have
take?
to do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What path do you take? And that's kind of an issue with early access. You have to you have a choice, but most of the time with early access, when people are giving you their money and you're very early in your development cycle, you have to be open. Because people are going to be like, what's happening with my money all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the big negatives of early access games in general is just the problem is you're almost setting people's expectations way before you're even, you know, halfway into making a game.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
those expectations just get built up on the longer you take, and they're like,
Hype
oh,
will
well,
drill.
it's taken,
I think,
yeah.
like, another thing that really fucks it is like specifically Kickstarter's model, where they show all the things like, oh,
Right.
you reach this point, we'll make this. People
Yeah.
think that, oh, you reach that point, that will be out like tomorrow.
Ready.
Right. It's going to
Yeah.
be part of
Like they
the
were
base
already
game.
developing beforehand, but really, more often than not, we're not even thinking about developing that until we hit that point.
Yeah.
And some of the things that, you know, are kind of concerning, but they lost most of their original dev team.
Oh, yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah, like most of their original dev team is gone. One of the big guys that did a lot of the world, Max Shirk, he left a long time ago. Gunslinger, he was, you know, in our community in the Rangers and part of the Bro Nation. He's not even a part of it anymore. Disseminate, you know, he did a lot of the animations. He's not there anymore, and so it's concerning, but you know, it's still a possible. It still
Yeah.
has a possibility of becoming
that's
something good.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
You're invested, and so it's like, man, I want to try to keep this hope alive as long as I can, you know? So it's like, man.
Exactly.
And then you get disappointed even more if it is a failure. You're like,
Right. Fuck. Fool me once.
uh, Anyways, so
Yeah.
Well, that's early access. So I appreciate you guys talking about that. I was gonna go through some gaming news stuff, but we're kind of over. So I'm just gonna speed through them real quick. Ludwig, as we all know, I would assume we all know, did a subathon. And during that subathon, he broke the Twitch sub record. Basically, he streamed for like, was it 30 plus days in a row.
Holy
Like
shit.
he didn't stop his stream. He didn't stop his stream at all. So it was 30 days like solid. 30 plus, because I can't remember if it's 1 or 2, something like that. And it stayed online because for every sub that he got, he increased the length of the stream by 10 seconds. That should tell you how many subs he got. That's ridiculous.
What did it start as? Was it like a 32,
I think it was
48?
I think it's
hour.
48.
Yeah, I think it was only a day or two, maybe.
And
But
then
it
it just blew up.
Yeah, and then he's already kind of a big streamer, and then
Sure,
he just kept, they kept
but,
stacking
By
on.
like the end of the first day, he had like 10 days worth.
Yeah. But
fucking
that was
dumb.
nuts. Yeah, so he just left
What
his
did he
stream
do?
on
Did he
24/7.
Just
Just
left
when
it
he
on?
slept. Yeah, when he slept, he just slept in his bed. You'd go make food, you'd come back. So he would do his normal stuff, but
Joined in a Discord chat with his mods and stuff before he went to sleep, so that they could talk and shit to the people in
right, like
chat
keep people
while he was
entertained.
gone, so
Yeah.
there's something to go
Yeah.
on while he was asleep.
Okay.
Yeah. So he broke the sub record, which was previously held by Ninja. It was like what 270,000 or something. I can't remember. It's a lot of fucking subs.
Huge. Yeah.
He made
Holy
he made a
shit.
lot of dollars this month.
That's
okay.
a lot of dollars.
Yeah, he made a lot of dollars. Gonna make more dollars than I make in like 5 years. All right. So, anyway, so
So what was the final number for him?
270 something. Ludwig sub count.
Jeez.
Let's see how many it is right now.
Wow. At 270,000? That's right.
Uh-huh.
That's like that at a
Uh,
minimum.
At the end of April 14th, he had more than 282,000 subs.
Dude, that's over like 1.2 mil.
You're assuming, I'm assuming you're going with $4 partner rate.
Exactly.
I don't know if he got that because you have to. So once you get partner, you negotiate your rate.
Yeah, you have
Now
a
he-
contract.
He definitely can probably renegotiate his contract right now and get a full 4, but he may not have had that before. But in any
Sure.
case, even
That's
if you just
assuming, that
Right.
they were all 4.99 subs.
right, exactly, because they could have been the bigger ones. So
Tier 2, tier 3, yeah.
and also even if you just assume it was affiliate rate, he still made like over 600K. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
well,
In-
I mean,
in
there
a
you go.
month.
Yeah. Yeah, in a month, in 30 days of 30 days of work. So
Holy
crazy.
sh-
I think at a certain point, just so we're clear here, at a certain point he did start also matching those to charity.
Nice.
I
That's
can't
good.
remember how far in, but he did start donating $5 per sub to charity as well. So all that 600K or whatever he made, he didn't keep all of it. He obviously sent a bunch to charity as well. So
That's awesome.
I just want to make sure we don't put him in a bad light per se.
Sure. No, that's not bad. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, he's in the right to do whatever he wants with that money, but he did send a bunch of it to charity as well. So that's cool, But so that's just amazing. That's so many subs. So
That's a lot.
that is ridiculous. By the way, the previous subscription record by Ninja was 269,000. So
Oh,
I
he
mean,
crushed it.
Yeah, I mean, like 13K or something. So yeah, I mean, so there you go. That's crazy. A little funny thing. I always like to pick on Apple. I actually don't have an issue with end users using Apple products. They're very end user friendly. But there's always that rival for some reason. Mac versus PC, blah blah blah. And Android versus iPhone. But in any case, Discord ended up having to block all iOS users earlier this month from accessing not safe for work servers because they couldn't verify age of people using the phones, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wait,
so I
is
just
that a
saw.
thing?
Yeah.
That can't be a thing. I'm accessing my server right now on my iOS.
So that's the thing. You're gonna have to go read about it because it says not safe for work servers. So I'm wondering if the whole server had to be flagged, not just channels. You see what I'm saying?
not just a specific channel.
Yeah. So
flag mine is not safe.
I
for
just
work.
wanted to bring it up because I thought it was funny, and
hilarious.
that they had to block him for a time. But in any case, I'm just like, why is that a thing?
Yeah.
A big one, Microsoft buys Nuance, which but they have a bunch of stuff, but the biggest thing I could just think of from them is the Dragon Naturally Speaking, the talk to text software. For your computer. That's the biggest thing I could think of they own, but they do a lot of like weird computer AI stuff. So I don't know. But it was a big acquisition. It was like $1 billion, 16 billion or something.
Jeez.
Microsoft money, it's fine.
Yeah, that's a Wednesday for Microsoft. But anyways, they picked them up. It was 19 billion. Sorry, 19.7 billion. So, anyways, it's pretty funny. Yeah, it had to be the whole server. That's what I thought. Anyways, and then a good one. I really enjoy seeing. There are certain streamers out there a lot of people don't like, and then there's ones that I just really like seeing succeed, even though. There's a thing with jealousy, right? You're like, okay, this fucking guy has this many people, and how the fuck that happened, I don't know, but great for them. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that really tries to hold a grudge anyway. But Valkyrae, which is a girl, by the way, not a guy, but her and Courage just became part owners of 100 Thieves, which is really cool. And and I specifically mentioned Valkyrae because she's a very prominent female streamer. And now she's getting more prominent in the gaming industry in general, which is just good to see in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's very cool. Both of them obviously got in, but it's cooler to see that she's like now part owner of a actual streaming. I mean, a organization, gaming organization. So it's cool to see all these big streamers just getting more successful. Help, give me some of your money.
Help. I've kids feed.
Also make sure one of the very few, if not one of the only, co-owners of any esports organization. That's a female.
True. Right.
So,
That's why it's pretty big too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were gonna talk about upcoming games. I'm just gonna list them off real quick. Pokemon Snap comes out. 2 weeks. I'm excited about that. That's the new one. On the Switch. Resident Evil Village. If you
I got it already ordered.
Yeah, that's on the 7th, so about 3 weeks. And that has your favorite
Paul.
Choke Me waifu in it. So if you're into that, that's in there.
Lady D something.
Yeah, Lady D, and then her little whatever they are, vampire
Who knows?
minions.
They're all vampires, yeah.
Mass Effect. I'm excited for Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which comes out on the 14th of May. I really want to replay through all that series, and I'm hoping to play with Charlie. We'll see. I haven't discussed it.
Are they doing like? Is it like a remaster edition where they're
Mhm.
updating
Yeah.
stuff?
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. They obviously redid all the graphics. They've done a lot of quality of life updates. I just saw yesterday, I think they added a photo mode, which is, I mean, nothing that I'm going to use, but it neat,
Sure.
I guess,
Pretty cool.
They've taken out some like dumb stuff in the games, like with the Mako and insta dying and stuff like that. So they fixed a bunch of things as well. So that's just going to be nice to see. So awesome. I really can't wait to play it. Also, it's all on PC, which they've kind of been on and off PC. It depends on what you use. Like for Steam, it was kind of weird because for a while they were on there, and then they got taken off when EA decided to do its own store. And now they're all back on there again because for some reason, I guess EA remerged with Steam because like all the EA games popped back up on Steam like a few months back. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, they had a big sale for it too. To go,
Yeah.
Guess
Yeah,
Origins just
so-
finally failed. Who knows?
Yeah. So, anyways, hopefully it'll be pretty fun. I'm excited for it. And then the other one that's kind of a stretch because I don't know when our next podcast is, but Days Gone for PC comes out May 18th.
Nice.
A game that I've really wanted to play. It's been out. So for those of you listening, if you're on a console, I'll probably talk about next podcast, but super excited for Dark Alliance, the new Dark Alliance, which comes out in July, not until like July. So it's further out, but I'm really, really ready to play that. We're going to have to get 3 other people that want to play and play that together because it'll be fun. So
I'm ready.
anyways,
Let's go.
you ready? Yeah. To get the old crew back together. See
Oh, I'm
what-
not a part of that old crew. Oh god.
No,
Alright.
it was you were in there. You
think
and
I
Brian, and we get Charlie in there. It'll be
Mm.
fine.
Easy money.
We can't get John in there because John doesn't play games anymore, or at
That's
least not when I
Whoa,
play.
whoa, whoa.
Not
He's
hold on,
playing
hold on.
League.
Okay, hold on. Not when I play games. Let's put that in there first, and then second,
Okay,
if
he's
he's
asleep.
if he's only playing League, then he's not playing games I play anyway. So, anyways, okay. Well, that's it. I don't have anything else. Y'all good?
That's it. Podcast over.
Podcast over. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so all right, cool. Well, that's the early access podcast, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's awesome,
um,
dude.
You know, we'll be back next month. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. I need to look at our stuff. I want to get we still got to do a speed running one, so we need to start talking to some speed running people. We're going to do a roguelike one. Talk
God.
about roguelike games.
We're talking about Risk of Rain again. Let's go.
It can be in there for sure. So we got some other stuff to talk about, and we got a few other ideas running around. So we'll see who we can get for next month, and that'll determine our next podcast. As always, guys, thanks for hanging out and listening. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next month.
Later.
Bye bye.